Hey there, YouTube video viewers. This is just an update on the refuge. This is Waylon, 48 years old. These are 56 cap blocks, 4 inches thick, 8 inches wide, 16 inches long, 33 pounds apiece. I lugged them from the car upstairs, down 13 foot into the basement, got them nice and stacked up nice and neat right here, all by myself. Just a little bit at a time. That's the trick. One here, one there. One here, one there. Every time you go in the basement, carry down a brick. And it adds up into this. But on top of that, I also got this. I cleared off the top of this refuge that we're getting ready to tear down, reinforce it, make it, instead of having the cinder block walls, we're going to have it made out of these solid 8-inch thick cap block for increased shielding. And then on the roof, instead of having them 4-inch thick like this, we are going to stand them up like this. And that will require an additional 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, and plus this edge, we'll be able to get covered 32, 33, 34, 36, an additional 36 brick, but that will upgrade it to an 8-inch ceiling on the refuge and a 4-inch ceiling on the shelter. And this right here is solid 2x4 all the way across with just a layer of plywood laying on top of this to keep the dust out. But this is a core shelter, and what a core shelter is, it's just a stack of dense material that you climb into during periods of increased radiation, like directly after a nuclear exchange. We're in the basement about 20 miles away from a prime target. So the fallout here would be immense, or the radiation here would be immense, and the fallout would be severe. So you would need to stay sheltered in place for maybe approximately at least 3 weeks. I would just say minimum, upwards to God only knows when. But radiation from nuclear weapons has a half-life. It's not the same kind of radiation as from a nuclear reactor, which we are about 100 miles from, but we are upwind from that because prevailing wind always blow east around here. So there's a lot of missile silos around here too. But the threat of World War III is not really bothers me. It's some whack job terrorist setting off a dirty nuke or something like that. Or maybe the house could catch on fire, and if we couldn't get out, we could come in here, lock the shelter, turn off the ventilation system, and there's blankets in here. There's plenty of water for wetting blankets. There's a gas mask with filters for filtering out the poisonous gases that would come off the house if it burned around us. There's fire blankets. There's large containers in here that we could fill full of water if we had to, and put the baby in it. Or I don't know, there's a lot of things you could do, but for now, we just there's a good chance that someone could set off a nuclear weapon somewhere in the West Coast. Like say they nuke LA, and the fallout, not only the fallout would just travel all the way across North America and kill tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of people. So I have to get this unstacked, but before I do that, I'm going to move this basement jack tonight, hopefully. And I will just simply bring it back about another 2 foot here. Bring it from here to here, crank it up, grind the bolts off on the floor. And then I have to move this one here, which is simply just coming right, move it a foot over this way, which is simply just to be out of the way. The shelter is going to be the exact same size, just maybe a little more square. So that will eventually go back. And if I don't replace it with a 4x4 or a 2x4, I figure a 2x4 I can just fasten it right here to the 2x4 frame, and I can also fasten it at the top, so where if we have an earthquake, this ain't coming apart, because right here, this plate, it just sits on top of this, and it's got a nipple on it that presses into a hole. So if the ground heaves and comes up and down, it's very possible that the plate would lift off of this and this thing could just fucking fall over. So that's not really designed for supporting the roof on a fallout shelter. So that will come out, and we either put a 4x4 there or a 2x4 there. And you can see what I'm starting to do here. Since these brackets are all free hanging and the roof rafters are hanging in the brackets, we're adding 2x4s down each one of them, and these will be nailed into the concrete with a hammer nailer. I don't know what they're called. So that's a part of a project. We've got that one. I've also installed one over here, as you can see. And there's one right here. So we have we have 3 2x4s. We have 2 support braces right here, which nail into the wooden lid on the refuge. So even if the ground shakes, we have these 2x4s, and that'll be a 2x4 right there, and that'll be a 2x4 right there. And maybe look at the possibility of seeing about hitting these with a wire welder and welding these up, so where the plate doesn't come off of them, and then we can use them for a different application. But I mean, there was a lot of shit on top of this refuge. You can see some of it right here. Soda pop, cases of water, all across the bed. A couple of cases down here on the floor, and this big old box of shit, and with a wash basin. Then the rest of the stuff that was on there is stacked right here, just case water and stuff. There's 10 cases of water right there. That's 240 to 300 bottles, depending. Some of them give you bonus water bottles when you buy them. So I'm just going to unplug these lights here and get out of here. I'll be back down here in a bit, but I'm just shooting some different videos of what I got going on. My back really hurts from moving all that stuff and lugging all this shit down here, but I'm not done. I will probably go ahead and get those support brackets and stuff moved tonight. Get the 2x4 in place, but not nail them in. I don't know. I won't get the 2x4 in. I'll get them moved. I'm going to tear this one out, move it back. Going to move that back and move that one back. So I'm off here. I got shit to do. Later.